best guy's wedding. Like, this is his side, and this is the joyous bride's side. Right here. He's got like 5 friends. They're from like high school. They just got the invitation. We're like, oh, fuck it, I get to go to LA. And these people are like, oh my God, she's really marrying him.
We are Nerdvana. Let's hear it again for Mr. Bonnie. And if you're wondering, if you Google Kid Hot at work, you will be fine. To get us started, if you'd like to pick out any word from that dictionary.
Puree.
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 Okay. Nice. And then if you as well would like to pick out a word from the dictionary.
Sting.
Sting and
Sting
puree.
and puree. All right. This is the first thing that popped in my mind. So I'm really gonna allow us to live up to our name. Sting is the name of Bilbo's sword in The Hobbit. Yeah. When I was a middle school boy, I read that series of books several times. So I know what you're thinking. Stephen, how did you have time to read those books when you were getting laid so much? So I read that series of books like a couple of times, like every single one, back to back to back. And I think the last time I read it in high school, I was starting to veer off that track anyway, but I was at church camp, and I grew up in Texas, and I went to a church that was independent Baptist. That's because they felt the Southern Baptists had gotten too liberal. I'm at church camp reading this book, and my youth pastor comes up to me, and he's one of the world's few not creepy youth pastors. This guy was great. But he's just like, hey, I don't think that you should be reading that here. And I was like, why? Adventure! And he was like, well, it deals a lot with magic. And my response was, well, so doesn't the Bible? Choose your words carefully, kids. Choose your words carefully.
Now, son, I'm glad you took a little time to come in here. I've been real concerned about you.
Oh, well, you know, it's not often that I get called into the counselor's office, but if you feel like I need to have a conversation with you, Counselor Wilson, then I'm here to be counseled.
Well, I've seen you've been starting to wear these black T-shirts with these band names on them, like Judas Priest and Metallica and something that with Dave Mustaine as if it was some sort of reunion band.
I can explain. My stepdad, he's kind of been the only male figure in my life, and he recently became a manager at Hot Topic. There's a 50% off on all T-shirts for employees and employee families. I don't even know what most of these bands are, but this is now where all of my clothes come from. I thought this was just like a priest named Judas.
Son, you don't have to wear these T-shirts to impress people. In fact, when you wear them, you don't impress people. You send out a message that that's not who you are. Because you don't need stuff that's coming from a Metallica record or a Judas Priest record. Because everything you need, son, everything you need is in this right here. This month's issue of Pitchfork Media. When you listen to Metallica, what are you doing? You're declaring war on the file sharers who are sharing the real music like Neutral Milk Hotel.
Oh no, sir. My stepdad, he's an older guy, you know, and so he brings home these shirts and he plays me these albums and he says that it thrashes. Isn't it good that things thrashes?
Some Metallica hasn't thrashed since they kicked out the founding members of Megadeth. Alright, that's not thrash metal. That's not thrash metal. Does that look like Sepultura to you, son? Of course not. Of course not. That's not thrash metal. Metal hasn't thrashed and suicidal tendencies wound up on a goddamn soundtrack record.
telling me is I should turn it around and I should start listening to a different kind of music. Something more sensitive, more thoughtful. Like Creed or Candlebox.
Son.
So not the 80s, like the 90s, like the late 90s.
Son,
There should be more alt in my gestalt.
So you said a lot of words that have never been uttered in the pitchfork offices. Creed, Gestalt. Look, I'm trying to walk a real thin tightrope here.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to tell you not to listen to other people. All right, I'm trying to tell you to be an individual. And I'm urging you to be an individual in the way that we do.
So I should be independent and individual exactly like you.
Here's the way I like to think of it. There are no stupid creative decisions. But that doesn't mean there aren't wrong ones.
I'm telling you, Will, I read it in those books. Elves are real.
I just, maybe it's because you read it in a book, but I wonder how that particular sound would be communicated as the elf call.
I mean, I assume that's what it sounds like. I've only read it in books. But I mean, I figure if I try enough different things, I'm going to find an elf, and then we'll be friends, right?
Look, I don't want to, we're in such a magical time right now.
High school sophomore!
You know, it's like you don't want to be the one to take away the magic from someone's life to tell them how cruel the world is, if it's cruel.
Yeah, because it is not.
It's just well, you know, in Lord of the Rings, you know how how Frodo he's living in the Shire, and it's like this magical place. It's
where
like
everything's happy, and then for a little while things are bad, but then they get rid of that ring and everything's perfect from then on.
Have you gotten very far in that?
Yeah, no, I know the whole thing. It's like, you know, he throws the ring and the thing, and then everything's fine after that for the rest of eternity.
Again, if you keep going, the Shire is burned down, and then he goes through it.
It's a boat, but it's death. Like, let's not fuck. Like, that sounds like something you read at a funeral for when there are a bunch of kids in the audience and you don't want to get into the concept of death.
So they didn't just take a lap and then come back.
I knew we'd have a lot of difficult conversations in our life, and I never thought this would be one of them. Look, Frodo, the Grey Havens, they're a metaphor for death. See, J.R.R. Tolkien had fought in the First World War.
Oh, God, I've never mourned for Gandalf.
Look, I mean, he already died once, so it's really not as big of a deal, right?
Look, and come on! This can't be! This can't be the thing that breaks your
How do you hold the hand of God with 9 fingers?
Look, they're fine!
But wait! There were elves on that boat! There are no elves! The elves are dead too! There is no God!
Yeah, that's a big jump. That's a big jump from where we are.
Look, it's a fictional book! It's a fictional book, it's not real! It's not real! Okay?
Wait. It's not real?
No! Not only is it not real, it's not fucking believable.